I analyzed 100 Grandmaster games and noticed that some patterns keep appearing over and over again. The first pattern is initiative over material. Here, Mikhail Tal was playing with the white pieces and the material was equal. However, black had just played the move queen to a4, attacking the a5 pawn and putting pressure on the d4 pawn. Most players here would try to defend this pawn desperately, thinking that if they lose the pawn, they would lose the game. However, Mikhail Tal showed us why that's wrong. He played rook fd3, and after he let his opponent take the pawn, he has the initiative. But what does the initiative mean? It means that he can force his opponent to react to his moves. Let's see how he does that. First, he forms this battery along the b file. Then, after his opponent reacted to his move, he maneuvered his pieces and he put pressure on the a6 pawn. Then, he reformed the battery and now he is putting a lot of pressure on the b7 pawn. Now, I have a question for you. Black has just offered a trade of queens, but taking won't lead to anything. There is a checkmate here. Can you find it? The move is rook takes a6. If the pawn takes, then queen to b6 will be followed by captures and checkmate. But if the king moves back, which happened in the game, queen to a4 and the king will be hunted and checkmated. This is why the initiative is so important. It helps you activate your pieces. Pattern number 2 is prophylaxis, which is stopping your opponent's ideas. Karpov was playing with the white pieces here, and he asked himself a simple question: how can my opponent threaten me? What are my opponent's plans? Then he realized that potentially black could attack along the a file. So he said, how about I block the a file with bishop a7? But that move looks so strange. Why did he randomly move his bishop to an empty square? It's not random, it's prophylaxis to stop black's rooks. In the next few moves, Karpov went on to double rooks. Now he is dominating the a file. See what happens next. A few moves later, we reached this position where white was launching a kingside attack on the black king, and black's rooks couldn't really do anything because, well, the bishop was blocking them. That's the power of prophylaxis. The game ended when knight h5 was played, attacking the bishop, and if the queen took, well, then knight to f5, attacking both the bishop and this pawn. Black decided to resign. This is what the initiative and prophylaxis can do to your opponents. But the next pattern is way more common and important. Pattern number 3 is improving your worst piece. It sounds simple, but it's not very easy to follow, especially during a game. Botvinnik was playing with the white pieces and he wanted to destroy Capablanca. He realized that his rook wasn't doing anything, so he moved it. Then he activated his knight, and here Botvinnik realized that his rooks are still inactive. He needed to activate them. He played f3 and opened up the center by giving away the pawn. But why? Well, after he pushed the pawn in a few moves, he was able to support the f5 push and went on to win the game due to this attack. Pattern number 4 is the principle of two weaknesses, according to which, in order to win an endgame, your opponent needs to have two weaknesses and you must target them. Here's how. So, in this position, the h7 pawn is already a weakness, right? And after knight to c5, a trade took place. So now the c6 pawn is weak and the h7 pawn is weak too. White went on to masterfully place the rook on the d6 square, and kept on attacking this pawn. In a few moves, we reached this position where white got this passed pawn and went on to win the game, all because he targeted two weaknesses. That's enough. The fifth pattern is creating targets. Capablanca was playing with the white pieces and he wanted to create targets because the material was equal. He played the move h5. If the pawn would have taken, then rook to h1 and both the pawns would have been gone. So, in this game, a trade happened. What did Capablanca do? Well, he brought his rook to the open file. Then what was his target? Like, there's no clear target here, right? Well, we have a 2 on 1. So white's pawn can potentially promote to a queen and win the game. How did Capablanca do that? Well, he chose to exchange minor pieces and he actually gave away the pawn on c3. His aim was simple. He wanted to promote the pawn. His target was actually the 8th rank, which we find out now. He went on to use the black pawn as cover for his king so the black rook couldn't check, and black lost all of his pawns and went on to resign because Capablanca would win the game anyways. These were 5 patterns that grandmasters use all the time, and if you want to get better at chess, you have to use them too. Thanks for watching the video. Train to win. Bye.